Essie was a bright, beautiful girl from a quiet town just outside Nsawam. The future felt like a wide-open road for Essie, a vibrant 16-year-old with eyes full of dreams. She was one of the brightest students at Nsawam Senior High School, always topping her class in science and biology. Her parents, especially her father, a retired teacher, often spoke proudly of her. "My daughter will wear white," he would say to anyone who cared to listen. "She will become a nurse and serve this nation." Essie believed it too. She imagined herself in crisp uniforms, helping people, making her parents proud. But like many teenagers, Essie began to feel the pull of independence. The world beyond her home seemed exciting. She wanted to taste freedom, to feel grown, noticed, and loved on her own terms. Then came senior high school. New environment, new faces, and one particular face that changed everything. Kwabena was everything Essie thought she wanted. A final year student, tall, well-dressed, always smelling of cologne. He played football for the school team and spoke with a soft confidence that made the younger girl swoon. He would meet her after prep, take long walks with her under the mango trees behind the school, or sneak her into town to buy her roasted plantain and ice cream. With him, she felt seen. He told her everything she craved to hear. "You're too smart to be treated like a child. Your parents are just afraid of how great you become. Don't let anyone hold you back, not even them." And she believed him. Soon, she began sneaking out after evening studies, lying about extra lessons and coming home later than usual. When her father confronted her one night, his voice firm but concerned, she snapped. "Essie, you're losing focus," he said. "You used to come home with books. Now it's just excuses." "I'm tired," she resorted. "Every time it's books, books, books. I'm not a child anymore." Her mother tried to mediate. "Essie, my daughter, listen. We're not your enemies. We want what's best for you." "You don't understand me," she screamed, storming into her room and slamming the door. That night, as her mother quietly cried in the hall, her father sat in silence. He looked at her closed door with worry written all over his face. Something was changing, and it wasn't good. Then came the nausea, the sudden dizziness during morning assembly, the loss of appetite, the late period that never came. Essie knew. She bought a pregnancy test with trembling hands at the roadside pharmacy in town and locked herself inside the bathroom to check. The two pink lines stared back at her like a curse. Pregnant. The next day was Kwabena's graduation, so she decided to tell him after the ceremony. I didn't want to ruin your day," she began, her voice trembling. "But I need to tell you something." Kwabena raised an eyebrow, half distracted. "What is it?" Essie looked down, then up, tears already forming. "I'm pregnant." The smile on his face vanished. He took a step back as if he had been slapped. "You're what?" "I'm pregnant," she repeated, barely able to hold his gaze. "Kwabena, it's yours. I've not been with anyone else." He scoffed, shaking his head. "Don't put that on me. Sure it's even mine?" Her chest tightened. "Kwabena, we've been together for months." But he was already turning away. "Don't call me with this nonsense," he muttered. "I have a life to live." And with that, he walked back into the crowd. Essie stood, frozen, the cheers in the background sounding distant and hollow. 2 days later, she tried to call him. Once, twice, 20 times, but the line never went through. By the end of the week, word spread that Kwabena had left town. No goodbyes, no forwarding contact. He had changed his number and erased her from his life. The silence that followed was louder than any scream. Essie's world crumbled. School became unbearable. Classmates snickered. Teachers looked at her with disappointment. Some avoided her altogether. By the third trimester, she stopped going to school. Every morning, she would sit on the porch, watching her uniform gather dust. The white she once dreamed of wearing now felt like a ghost mocking her. Her father said very little. Her mother moved around the house like a shadow. The disappointment was heavy, but the silence was heavier. Church friends avoided eye contact. Neighbors gossiped at the market. Even children whispered behind her back. She began to hate herself. And then came the darkest night of her life. It was raining hard. The kind of rain that blurred vision and soaked skin within seconds. She had waited until everyone had gone to bed. She wrapped herself in a shawl, took one last look at the room she grew up in, and stepped into the storm. She walked for almost 30 minutes to the old Nsawam Bridge, the one near the abandoned cocoa farm. The river beneath it was swollen from rain. Lightning lit the sky, followed by thunder that cracked like the sky was angry. Essie stood at the edge, gripping the rusty nails. Her belly was heavy now. She was almost about 8 months along. But to her, it didn't matter anymore. She saw her life as over. Her future, her parents' trust, her dignity shattered. "I've ruined everything," she cried to the wind. "I brought shame to my parents. They don't deserve this." She lifted one leg over the rail, but then, through the roar of the rain, she heard it. "Essie!" It was her father's voice, trembling, desperate. She turned and saw him running barefoot, soaked to the bone, panting, eyes wild. Behind him was her mother, crying and shouting a name between sobs. He just reached her in time. Her father grabbed her waist and yanked her down. She collapsed into his arms, trembling and wailing uncontrollably. "I'm sorry, I'm sorry," she screamed. "Please forgive me. I didn't listen. I should have listened." Her father, soaked and shivering, held her tight. His voice broke as he spoke. "Can't lose everything, Essie. I'm on your name. In this town's respect, but not you. We will never lose you." The mother knelt beside them, holding both of them as rain poured down like cleansing tears. That night, something broke, but something else began to heal. Forgiveness had opened its door. Essie gave birth to a baby girl on a quiet Sunday morning. Her mother was by her side the entire time, holding her hand, wiping her brow, whispering prayers as Essie screamed through the pain. When the baby finally came and let out her first cry, Essie wept, not from pain, but from grace. They named her Inshra, meaning blessing. But blessings don't always come in pretty packages. The months that followed were hard. Essie stayed home, her dreams buried beneath diapers, midnight cries, the ache of young motherhood. She often stared at the ceiling during feeding, wondering where she would be if she had listened, if she had chosen differently. Outside, life moved on. Girls she once studied with passed her window in neatly pressed uniforms on their way to school. Some looked away, Others giggled and whispered. She became the cautionary tale parents told their daughters. Don't end up like Essie. She tried to stay strong for Inshira, but the shame clung to her like a shadow. One day, as she sat under the neem tree in their compound, her mother came and sat beside her. She didn't say much, just placed a firm, warm hand on Essie's shoulder and said quietly, "You may have fallen, but you can rise again. Learn something. Build something. Don't let this be your end." Those words hit deep. The next morning, Essie asked her mother for money. Not much, just enough to buy a few things and transport to the market. Her mother looked at her, eyes wide. "What for?" "I want to learn how to sew," she said. "I want to start again." Essie became an apprentice at Madame Rose's tailoring shop, a tailoring shop at the center of the Insawam market. The noise was constant, traders shouting, children playing, trotromis honking, but to Essie, it was the sound of second chance. The beginning was brutal. Madame Rose was tough. She didn't tolerate laziness or excuses, but she noticed Essie's dedication and grit. She began giving her more to do. First, hemming simple skirts and cutting patterns, and finally sewing full outfits. Essie took pride in her work. By the time Essie turned 23, she had saved enough to rent a small shop by the roadside, a humble space with peeling walls, but to her, it was a palace. Years passed, her business grew, and so did Inshira, now a smart, bubbly girl. People stopped calling Essie the girl who got pregnant. They now called her Mama Essie, the tailor of second chances, the woman who turned her pain into purpose. She painted the walls of a shop bright yellow and lined the shop with racks of colorful kente, Ankara lace and denim. Her designs began to attract attention. Every dress told a story. Every outfit held redemption. The pain, the shame, the heartbreak, they didn't define her. They shaped her. She still remembers the bridge, the rain, the moment she almost gave up, and how love, shaking love, pulled her back. Today, her story is more than just a testimony. It's a mirror for every young girl at the edge of a wrong decision, for every parent unsure how to show tough love with soft hands, for every person who thinks one mistake means the end. You can fall, you can fail, you can lose your way, but as long as you're still breathing, there's always a way back. Mistakes are not the end of your story unless you refuse to write the next chapter. Dear viewer, maybe you know an Essie, maybe you are Essie, maybe you've made choices you regret, maybe you are carrying shame that no one sees, but here's the truth, you are not finished. If this story touched you, leave a comment below. Just type, "I choose to rise." If you are ready to turn your pain into purpose, let someone else see that they are not alone. And if you are a parent watching this, remember, even when your child pushes you away, never let go completely. Sometimes love has to wait at the bottom of a fall to catch them. Please like this video, share with someone who needs it, and subscribe if you want more stories. Until next time, remember, your story isn't over. The pen is still in your hands.